Well, it's different, from the standpoint of there's AC and tighter quarters, but the overall practice was good. We really had a bunch of guys flying around. We were able to get a lot of good work and teaching done. So, we were able to get a really good practice, and it's great that we've got that building available to us.
What was the emphasis today in today's practice?
Just
2 a day and everything.
Just like every day, improvement. There was another day of installation for us, fourth day of our installation. So there was some newness. So you got 3 installations that have already been in, and now you had the 4th installation. So there was a lot of learning today, in compared to some of the last 2 days.
Was that forced because of indoors? Because I can't imagine you doing a whole lot of individual stuff with the amount of space you got. Was it just more team aspect going on inside today?
We were able to have a normal practice. That's a great thing.
Okay.
That's the great thing about our facility. I think it was at 110, 120 yards total. So we were able to get on our end to get a lot of individual work defensively, and then go on the offensive side and get a lot of work done. So that part of it was really easy, really functional.
Okay.
Obviously, your focus is on the defensive line. But
Absolutely.
you see any changes, any differences your guys going against the offensive line compared to this time last year?
Absolutely. The one thing that we have right now, offensive line-wise, is some experience. You got some depth coming back, and as we always talk about, Coach Mullen emphasizes, you're only as good as you are up front. And you look at guys like Blaine Cozell and Tobias B. Mack and Gabe and Dylan and Dylan Day, who's an older guy. You got a really good, solid veteran group of football players, and they make us strain every day to get better.
I asked about Shane McCardell, and it seems like he's just made so much progress. And I'm wondering if Danico's arrival served as motivation for that.
I know it didn't hurt. So from the standpoint of him looking over and seeing a guy who's as talented with a high motor, I think it really has helped Shane a lot of bit to really see how guys perform. Danico's won a national championship. He's been an All-American. Obviously, he's done it at the junior college level, but he still's attained both. So I think it's really been good for Shane and the rest of our guys.
What is Shane doing better now, you think?
He's more confident. He's got more knowledge of our system, and that's what makes him different. And he's really turned into a more physical football player than I've ever seen him be.
At what point does Coach Mullen's talked about this too, but is it ever going, ongoing process with your too deep in your mind of the guys you want come game time, or is that something that carries on through the season?
It goes on every practice. Our depth charts change daily, and who's consistent, who's beating guys out. The worst thing you can do is make that assessment after the season, because typically it's too late. So on a daily basis, we're always trying to evaluate who are the guys that give us the best chance to win a football game.
Is this the most depth that you've had since you've been here?
Yes.
Talk about the depth of line.
Yes, no question.
But absolutely.
Talk about the depth at linebacker, because we joked with Jeff Collins on media today. He's a much better linebacker coach now that he has 7 guys he can rotate in and out and fresh than he ever has in his career.
Well, you look at a guy like Bohanna, who hadn't played much, and you look at a guy,
He pointed out Christian Holmes.
Chris Hughes. I mean, these are guys who are taking those steps to really becoming SEC football players. And that's the biggest thing, is you can't teach experience. And so the more reps we can get these guys, the more opportunities, the more you're gonna see them grow and hopefully become really good players.
When a guy comes in, a JUCO guy, and everybody's expecting so much of him, Danico Autry. I remember you even saying back in February, this guy has a chance to be one of the better players I've coached on defensive line. How's he handled that since being in camp? Has he been able to stay humble a little bit? Or?
He's never talked about it. He's never mentioned his stats and what he's been able to do. He's a really humble kid. He's really a Mississippi State kid, via North Carolina. But he's humble, he's tough, he works his behind off. And so, he fits exactly who we are as a program.
How are some of those newcomers kind of adjusting to the first couple of days of camp and stuff? Are they starting to show little signs of improvement?
Yeah, the stars don't matter much now. There are not a lot of 4 stars and 3 stars and 5 stars out there now. There are just a bunch of guys out there who are trying to get used to the speed of the game. That's the biggest thing when we talk to those young guys like Will Redmond and Cedric Giles, very talented guys, but the speed of the game is just so fast. Every day they've got to find a way to improve.
He has to sit down on after his first season as a head coach, but after your first season as the full-time defensive coordinator, do you feel differently as a coach? Have you been able to take things from last year and transform them into either practice schedules or what you plan to do this fall?
All of
Union
the
games?
all of the above. You know, you realize what you need and what you want more than anything. But you sit back and go, these are must-haves, and then those are likes if you like them. And what you do is you really begin to define your package based off of your players. That's been the biggest thing is, you know, knowing who your guys are and knowing what they're capable of doing and building a defense based off of that. And I believe that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
How do you feel like the scheme and/or the system has adapted since you got here with Manny?
Well, the biggest thing is when we came in there, John Banks was a sophomore.
Right.
Corey Broomfield was a sophomore. You know, you had Wade Bonner and you had Charles Mitchell. You had, you know, just the guys being in the same system for 3 years and knowing the ins and outs of it and the pluses and the minuses really made them confident and playing fast. And now you're looking in your secondary as well as your front, and you got guys who've been in this system 3 to 4 years and are very confident in it. And so that's kind of fun.
So some things that Nick James has got to work on to be able to see the field this year. He's still got to work up his shape and
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. I think the worst thing we can do when a guy comes in highly touted is thinks all of a sudden he's going to be Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox wasn't Fletcher Cox till his sophomore year. You know, that's when he became to be really that guy. And so you look at a guy like Quay and you look at a guy like Nick who have, you know, they have different talents, really different. They're different. But in the same sense, they're 18 years old and they're just like trying to find out what dorm to go to. You know, what time breakfast check is. And so, you know, they've got a lot going on, but talent-wise, they're very different, as I like to say.
Curtis Burgess, how's he kind of stepped up a little bit?
I've really been pleased with Curtis. His maturity has been great. His leadership has been even better. He's really getting it. And so I expect to see a really, you know, really great year from that young man this year. And so he's really put his work in. He's put the time in.
How far up the depth chart do you see Quake climbing? He would competing for a starting job at some point this year, or is it too soon for that?
Yeah, it's too soon for that, you know. And you know, like I said, Quay's just trying to learn how to, you know, line up and go hard right now. And so is Nick, and so is Jordan Washington, all those guys. So, like I said, you know, we'd rather play them later than early. And so we'll just keep going along with that process.
Is that kind of the biggest group you've had? I mean, you've got 6 or 7 as far as coming in one class, D-line.
I think this is my 19th or 20th season. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, this is the largest group of guys that I've had in one class at one time, and they can really play. I think they have a really bright future.
Have you noticed a strength difference, you know, on all 3 phases, line, linebackers, and then back forward? It just seems like you're working with 300-pound defensive tackles now. You're working with 240-pound linebackers now instead of 215-pound linebackers. I mean, that seems like the big difference when I look at a roster this year.
When you look out there, they look like an SEC football team.
That wasn't the case maybe 2-3 years ago
And, you know,
when you got here.
Yeah, you know, there were some things that we knew we needed to improve, and we still need that.
Right.
But, you know, what you see is when they walk off the bus, they look like an SEC football team. You know, you look at Nick and you look at Josh and you look at P.J. Jones. I'm just going to talk about some guys who've been in the program for a little bit. Preston Smith and Darius Slay. They look like an SEC football team. Now it's getting them to play that way on a consistent basis.
Caleb Ewells, I mean, that's a guy that you've seen move from tackle to end. Where do you see him staying? Do you see him staying at end this year?
I like to, in certain packages, like to see him at the end. In certain packages, like to see him play inside. You know, the biggest thing that you guys know this, because you study a lot, is you want your best players to create matchup problems for guys. So when you got guys who can do a lot of things, that's really what you want. You want defensive ends who can be linebackers. And you want defensive tackles that can be, you know, defensive ends like Fletcher was for us. And so we're kind of multiple in that regards.
You ever think about stealing Bernardrick McKinney? Because he certainly looks like a kind of a classic pass rushing end, but they love him at linebacker.
Hey, I'd play my mom if she can give me a sack. I'll just be honest with you. There is nobody. You look at a guy like John Banks who had, 4.5, 5 sacks. So I don't care who it is. If I can find a guy who can get off the edge and get pressure and get the quarterback, we'll use it.
Has anybody moved around in the last couple of days, maybe experiments besides the games? You play different guys. Have you tried some of the outside guys in and inside guys out?
Not really. It's too early in camp. What we're trying to do right now is just see who can play for you. And so right now, no, we hadn't went that direction.
Two of the young guys on the line played last year's freshman, Preston Smith, P.J. Jones. Where are they kind of at going into this season? I think neither listed as a starter like this.
Their stock's really high. Their stock's up. Preston and stock's up, and he came in, he had a great summer. PJ had a great summer. He's put on a lot of weight, and he's about 290 pounds and really carrying that weight extremely well. So, their stock's high.
What's it like out there every day on a daily basis with those guys?
Well, every day, we just come out with a mindset we're gonna work hard, and Coach Wilson, he's always preaches, go hard every day, play with relentless effort, and we just come out there with the mindset, we gotta go hard because we're trying to get to Atlanta, and I want to win the championship here, so we just come out every day with the mindset, work hard, and just go hard, and just leave it all out on the field every day. So that's what Coach Wilson preaches. That's what we try to follow every day.
How different is it for you playing this year, getting those reps last year, and what's changed for you?
I feel like I get a little bit more playing time. I've gotten bigger. I'm around 288, but got a little faster. Work with Bayless, just trying to get ready to help the team out. Just any way I can contribute to the team. Working those, a little bit of quick technique, just playing everywhere, just trying to contribute to the team. It's about the team. So.
Coach Wilson said that your stock is high. What do you think he means by that? I mean, do you feel like that your game has gone to another level?
I really don't know. Coach Wilson says a lot of things. I guess that means I'm doing well. I guess it's good to hear. He says on me, really bad, really hard, and I just try to listen to him and keep pushing myself. He's a great coach, one of the best coaches I've ever seen. I've been around, and he can get in you. You know what I'm saying? He gets to you a little bit, but he pushes you the right way. So you just gotta work hard with him. I love him. So it's good.
You're one of, I think, like 3 guys that didn't redshirt last year. And a lot of people talk about the benefits of redshirting, but what kind of benefits do you think you got from playing right away?
The benefits I got from playing, I think, I really actually know the speed of the SEC. Some guys you see it, but it's different when you're out there playing it. And the crowd is loud. You gotta be focused in. The focus is speed and just being locked in. It's a whole different dimension from high school. It's just speed, the power. Guys, you playing. I was coming out of high school, 18-year-olds. I'm playing against guys who are 23, 24. Those are grown men, really grown men. And it's just a new experience. It was great for me, even though I got beat up a little bit. I did, but it was a learning experience. So.
I don't know if you ever got to ask you, but how nervous were you before that Memphis game? I mean, you got the start. I mean, it was weird.
Oh God, man! There was 1,000 things running through my mind. I was like, man, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna get off the ball? Man, I hope I don't mess up. I just went out there and just started playing football, man. I calmed down. Those first couple plays, I was a little nervous, man. I was like, okay, but it was Memphis. What really woke me up was Auburn. I went against a real SEC team. I got kind of smashed in Auburn, and it woke me up like this is a real SEC team.
So is this everyday normal business now? Being in fall camp, is this kind of just normal, relaxed, take it easy kind of deal going on?
Every day we just, got to take it one day at a time. You can't look down the road. That's what we're trying to do during camp. Just keep working hard. And can't look forward because, if you just really look, longer to other weeks, you're like, dang, I got to go 2 days, got another 2 days. How am I going to make it? If you just take it one day at a time, you'll be okay.
What's it like for you to look at guys like Quay and Nick and say, that was me last year? I mean, how much do you help them, or how much they, I know they got older guys to ask for advice, but you were in their shoes just last year. I mean, how much do y'all talk about that?
I talk to him a lot. Nick James, he's my locker mate, so I just sit there and he asks me a bunch of questions. How do you do it, PJ? How you go so hard? I be like, man, it's a mindset. I just try to pick both of them up because it's rough on them. It was rough for me last year. I didn't think I was gonna make it. I didn't go a lot, but Cox, he was a great roommate. He was my roommate. you know, he pulled me up. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have been there. He pulled me up every day at the hotel. I just try to do the same thing for young guys. I know I was in their shoes just a year ago. I just try to stay positive and uplift them. That's about it.
So your locker is right next to Nick James?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm 225 pounds. He's a large human being. You said you're about 288? Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you still look at him and go, that's a large human being for 18, 19 years old?
He's possibly the largest human being I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen somebody that big. Sometimes I just look at him and go, like, how did you get that big? And then he can carry his weight pretty well, you know, to be that big weight. He has a long way to go to get in shape, but once he gets down to about 320, even, like, you know, somewhere down there, it's gonna be scary. I feel bad for the guys who's across him, for real.
Fletcher left some pretty big shoes to fill. As a young guy, do you kind of see that as motivation, you know, to come in and kind of fill that role?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to contribute in any way that I can, you know. Obviously, I'm not Fletcher, you know, but I work, you know, I feel like I work hard. You know, Fletcher, he was a special talent. I can't compare myself to Fletcher because, you know, he's Fletcher and I'm PJ. You know, I got to be the best at what I do. And, you know, I just come out and just try to help the team and just keep on competing and just work hard every day and just try to uplift the team and just try to get to Atlanta. That's the main goal.
You see him every day in practice. Well, what's your assessment so far to Nico Autry? What's he's capable of this year?
Oh man, that guy's amazing. One of the best pass rushers I've ever seen. I mean, he's humble. I mean, he works hard and he just grinds it out. You know, he's a hard worker, and you know, he rarely complains. You just hear him. You know, he's always saying, "Let's go, get it up, Peter. Let's go, everybody." Man, he's just a great guy to be around. He's really a really good guy.
Everybody good? Talking to Boy, he's been leading me on how to do certain things to help him out when he does get a double team.
What were the conditioning stuff? Was conditioning a little bit easier this year than last year, just when you had to be your first year?
Yes, it was. Last year I was down, but this year I mean, after I get feelings, I'm up and walking around. I mean, I'm not as tired. I'm more relaxed, you know.
It's about as fit as you think you've ever been in your life.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Seeing those freshmen like Nick James and Quay, a little bit different than probably what you came in as a freshman. Have you seen anything like that before?
I have not. But those two are pretty good. But more than them, Ryan Brown been pretty good to me. He been stepping up as a freshman.
How's Dwayne Sherrington changed just in his body over since he got on campus? What's he look like now?
His body type hasn't really changed. Like, he's still big and bulky. It's not gonna change. But he's moving a lot better than he was last year.
The thing that you guys are just trying to get like Nick James up to right now is just kind of get him into playing shape a little bit, so that maybe by the season he can get going and be able to contribute behind you guys.
Repeat, please.
Try to get him going, get him back in shape so he can contribute a little bit behind you guys there.
He's been doing a little conditioning every day, extra conditioning off the field to prepare him for the season.
But his raw talent can't be denied, right? I mean, the guy is a huge beast.
His raw strength, his raw power, yeah, you can't make that.
More of a sink role because, like you said, I've been moved to DN to 3 technique, and I feel like that's kind of major because they can show that I can play either one of those positions.
How do you like rushing off the edge right now, and what's that competition like? Because when you see Danico, you've seen Shane McCardell in the spring, and then obviously on that other side, you guys looks like you guys are pretty deep at the DN spot.
Oh yeah, because see those guys, not all of those two guys, just everyone. We get out there, we try to be competitive, just turn everything into a competition, like our rushing game, our speed, pass rush game, we try to turn everything into a competition so we can push each other, go even harder.
Was there some needling last year? Because, we got told there was some jokes 4 weeks into the year that John Banks was leading the team in sacks, and did the linemen and the big guys kind of take that a little hard? Take that to heart?
Now, we really take that to heart because, we all know this is a team effort, and, we know that John Banks got those sacks, and Josh Boyd got the sacks, and, Shane McCarter got the sack, but, we all know that it was a team effort, that we all worked hard, and it was all together, it was worth it.
Can everybody on this team get a sack? 'Cause, I mean, y'all put a little broom out there and blitz him, and he'll hit a quarterback.
Yeah, I'm sure, cause you know, I think that anyone on the team can get a sack, cause you know, we work hard at it, and that's why we practice and we go over it again, and you know, even from mistakes we learn from that, and you know, that's why we try to do it.
Kayla, how much did, obviously you and Fletcher Cox is a year or two older than you, but y'all's game is kind of similar in the fact that both of you play inside and outside at that speed and that size. How much did you watch him and how he handled those work?
I watched him a lot, cause you know, cause when he was here, he was a great leader. He was a great person to watch, you know. Just like Josh Boyd, you know, he's a great leader and a great person to watch right now, cause he can also play the role like playing from nose guard through technique, and I also think he can play in too, cause you know, he learns it all and he teaches it all, and that's why I think he's a great person to watch too.
Having a year of experience under your belt now, do you kind of feel like you know what to expect going into the season?
Yeah, I feel like I know to expect since I got that 1 year under my belt, and going into my second year, I feel like I know what to expect.
What do you expect? I mean, you've had to face SEC tackles and guys who've been in the game for a long time and maybe know some tricks that you weren't ready for when you got in.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I feel like that's an advantage. I was going in young, very young, and coming as a freshman playing, and knowing that those guys have been like 3 or 4 year starters, and they had some tricks that I have never seen before. And I feel like getting that first year under my belt, for like I kind of learned some of those new tricks too, so I have something to go about.
Are you better now at anticipating snaps or reading or taking a guess which way the quarterback may or may not roll now? Haven't seen it.
Yeah, since I've been on that year, I feel like I got better at everything, and still, you know, getting better and trying to improve everything that I can.
Who do you guys look to on the defensive line to talk to and bounce things off of, and also for leadership? Is it Josh Boyd?
Yes, Josh Boyd, because like I said, he's a great person, he's a great leader, and you know, he's a great role model for all D linemen to watch, because the way that he works and the way he leads us.
Do you like playing inside? Because in spring they ran you some packages in there, true tackle position.
I feel like, you know, they put me anywhere on the field. I feel like I can learn it and I can get after it.
Because Josh, I'm telling him about it, he thinks you could play tackle just as well as anybody too.
Yes, sir.
Is it important, or do you notice that it seems like a lot of the guys on defense are small-town Mississippi guys? Behind you, you've got Cam Lawrence from Coldwater, and John Banks is from Maven, and a lot of the D-line guys are from small-town Mississippi. I mean, it seems like you guys are all from the same type of background kind of deal going on there.
Yeah, because, you know, coming here to Mississippi State, you know, we felt like that we know that this was a great place to come to and a place that we wanted to be at, because we know that, you know, coming here we all can make changes, and that's why we all came here.
When Danico came in, did he kind of act like the big city guy, compared to all y'all made? Because he's from out of state.
No, he was like, you know, just like any other new person that come in, you know, want to learn it as much as possible and try to get in there as quick as possible, so you know what to do too.
Who is a city guy in that group? I mean, by comparison, West
Do you
Point's a
have
big
one? I
town.
mean, it seems like there's a whole bunch of, you know, small-town Mississippi guys.
And West
on
Point
this
has
team.
stoplights.
Yeah. Well, I don't know who's the biggest city guy on the team.
Who's the most country of the guys on the defensive line?
I don't even know.
Coach Wilson's talked a little bit about sort of the marriage between defensive line and secondary. Have you seen that, obviously, with a lot of guys back there who have some pretty good cover skills?
Yeah, it's marriage skill, because you know, we all work hard and we know what to expect from each other, and that's like when we go out there we get after it, and that's like it's like a marriage thing between us.
How much can it help, you know, just you as a defensive end, if you're trying to get to the passer, that you've got guys like Banks and Broomfield and Slay back there who can buy you some extra time?
Just like those guys, you know, they can buy us some extra time to get up on the quarterback, get sacks, and just like we can rush the pass and get them enough time to get in their coaches and cause turnovers.
We got our feet in the water to know what we can be expecting as far as, you know, this year and stuff. And it's gonna help us, it helped us to know what we need to improve on as individuals and as a team.
With all the depth there, especially on the interior, how tough is it just to get, you know, a good amount of snaps on the field for you individually?
Well, we all just kind of work hard and try and earn playing time or whatever. And we just keep on grinding and practice to try and earn playing time. The coach, probably he the most likely to decide who gets the most snaps or how he distributes the playing time.
You and PJ kind of develop a bond, being two freshmen that played on the line, have to go through all that stuff together.
Yeah, me and PJ we're pretty close. We took a lot of classes together. We're pretty much all always around each other when we traveled in schooling and tutoring. Pretty much on and off the field. We was pretty much always around each other.
You were the last freshman to actually get playing time last year. Did you think you were headed for a red shirt?
No, cause I mean I just I had it in my head. I didn't know if I was gonna get red shirt, but I had it in my head not to give up and try and keep working hard and try and earn some playing time.
Keep hearing that Nick James is just a humongous guy, and he's having to do some extra conditioning work. You think he's got a chance to crack that rotation a little bit this year just because of his raw talent?
He's a pretty good guy, but he's just as good as any of the other freshmen. They all work hard as each individual, and they pretty much can. I feel like they all can earn some playing time this year as long as they keep working hard.
Yeah, we talked to Caleb in here a minute ago. He's someone who switches in between tackle to end. He's got a lot of size. You see yourself as more of the, long, speedy kind of guy?
Yeah, long, speedy kind of guy.
Just, my time's dwindling down. It's coming close to the end. I kind of want to see a championship while I'm here. So I know my time's running out. So I just push harder and harder. And then also with Danico coming in, just more competition. So we're able to push each other every day.
What was your first reaction when you hear that a guy like Danico's coming in? He's one of the top 2 JUCO players in the nation. What was your first reaction?
I was kind of excited because Danico's probably the closest end that we had that really can run with me. So like I like just competing speed wise with him. He's really we've pushed each other in that area.
I was going to ask you, in what way does Danico motivate you? Just his mere presence alone, just because of his resume and what he's done?
Just every day we look at each other. When it's group or pair, we always get with each other and push each other and just try to make each other better every day. We always learn from each other.
People kind of looked at him as soon as he came in. They're like, okay, he's probably going to be the starter. Do you ever take any exception to that? Where you're like, well, I think I can compete with this guy?
No, because nothing's set in stone. Every day, it depends on what you do day in and day out and how you work. That's really on what determines it.
I think there's a possibility that you could be on the other side at end, and he could be on the other side.
Yes, most definitely. But we have to keep working, keep grinding, and see what comes out of it.
Has that been brought up? Coaches say, hey, we might do that a little bit. Mm-hmm. Get the best guys on the field on each side.
Best pass rush for long yard situations.
Long yard situations, yeah.
I feel like a world ago, about a year, but it was only a year and a half ago, you were doing wide receiver drill.
Yeah, I know.
Your body type's different. It seems everything's different about you from that moment on.
Well, yeah, I've really learned a lot from changing over from position. Like from offense to defense, I learned a lot about just the game of football, and it really helped me out overall.
Figure out, how you fit, in the game, here, everything.
Yeah.
How much do you weigh now?
255.
How much did you weigh a couple years ago?
Well, when I went to receiver, I actually got below 230. I think the low was 228.
How different does that make you feel, just having that extra weight involved on you?
I can't really say it's too much of a difference. Just less, maybe endurance, but that's it. Once you get used to something, it's no problem really. I wouldn't say it's much of a difference.
I can't imagine when you showed up on campus, you were never thinking you were going to be 255 pounds, 260 pounds, and it doesn't look like. Do you feel that big, or do you feel like you can still run like you did when you were coming here to play receiver?
To be honest, I feel like I got a little slower, okay. And I couldn't see myself at all getting that heavy. But working with Baylor, as soon as Baylor's out, my weight just started picking up like crazy. So yeah, I mean, now that I reached it, I know that it's possible. So anything is possible.
Looking for the right place to play you and moving around. Right? I mean, did you ever just get frustrated and think about just writing it off?
No, I never really get frustrated about much. I just keep an open mind, and I'm willing to learn and work, and just do what it takes to get better every day.
And you feel it's paying off now that you just got the shot?
Most definitely.
It's interesting to hear you say that your time's almost done. A lot of guys don't see that until maybe halfway into their senior year, or a couple of games left into their senior year. You seem to have noticed and appreciated what you've got left right now in August.
Yeah, I actually, after last season is when I started realizing it, after last season. So since then, because everything from then on is going to be my last, whether it's spring ball, whether it's summer conditioning, it's all my last, so it's the last go around, so I'm going to make the most of it.
And it sounds like you're trying, it sounds like just in your voice you're trying to appreciate everything every day, just, you know,
One day at
even
a
this
time.
2 a day, this is the last 2 a day I'll have,
Yeah.
the last week of 2 days I'll have, something like that.
Yeah.
Anything in particular stuck out to you the first week or so in fall camp? Kind of caught your eye about the defensive line?
I guess the mindset everybody trying to work to get better. You know, a lot of times everybody won't start out like that because of, I guess, you know, first day of practice, trying to survive or whatever. But just to see that everybody just trying to work hard to get better.
How much has he helped that besides you?
He helped a lot. You know, a presence rushing off the edge to help me open up things in the middle. That's going to be a big help to me as well as other people.
Nico, when you came in, you know, a lot of people presume that you're going to start, but Shane McCardell has, I think, really challenged you pretty well. What have you seen from him, and how's that competition going?
Just me and him, like racing practice, like speed wise. He hit me out coming up the edge, help him out coming up the edge. So we just help each other.
The people we talked to, I mean, you came out with a lot of hype. You know, everybody looks at your stats. You know, you're one of the top 2 JUCO players in the nation according to recruiting services. Everybody says you remained humble. What have you done to try to block that out, all that hype?
I just play ball. I don't let it get in the way and then let it interfere.
What are you expecting this season from yourself personally? What do you think is going to be a good year for you?
You know, I'm coming to do what I was recruited to do, get sacks and rush the passer.
You look at what Pernell McPhee did. He came in as a JUCO guy, and he had an immediate impact. You kind of look at that and say, okay, I need to try to do what he does in a way.
Yeah, in a way I do, but in a way I still got to beat the Nico at the end of the day.
Josh, what do you think of him? I mean, and what he's been able to do since he's been here? Is this the instant impact type of guy you guys been looking for the last couple of years?
I really think he is. You know, he rushes the passer very well. He started to learn. You know, he was more of a pass rusher when he got here, but then he turned into a run block. So he's now an every down guy. So I think it would be the big impact that we need.
I mean, you guys, the depth's a lot better than when you and Fletcher first came in, but you kind of look at Quay and Nick and kind of see that same type of situation you and Fletcher had, both guys highly recruited, coming in, expected, you know, to play early, maybe not like you and Fletcher did the first year, but you kind of remind.
Yeah, you know, they both remind me of myself in college. You know, how we did come in, and some of the things I see in them and some of the things I know I used to do, you know, back when I first got here. So it's a lot. It's a big reminder. You know, I'm thinking they're gonna be the same way after I leave. It's gonna be those 2 guys trying to push everybody else up and become even better D-line than him.
Is it different not having Fletcher around because he's been right there beside you the entire time you've been here, and now kind of the spotlight kind of following you?
Yeah, it's a big difference, you know, because me and him, you know, we always competed. We did everything, you know, we came in competing, and now that he's gone, it's like I had to kind of just get used to it because I'm always beside him. We always kind of work together on the D-line to do things, so it's a little different, but you know, I'm adjusting to it.
Nico, how's the speed, you know, in practice right now? How have you transitioned to that? How much different is it than an EMCC practice when I know that they were trying to run a lot of plays there too, but you know, Bo was putting up video game numbers on offense, so you had to get on the ball quickly. But is it different here?
Oh yeah, totally, like a lot.
How long did it take for you to not be catching your breath after every play, or is it still happening?
It's still happening. Still happening.
Nico, I remember we wrote an article, I think back in February when you first committed to state about how there was a time there where you get away from home and you're thinking, man, I don't know if I want to keep playing football. Take me back through that journey you had and what it took to kind of convince you that you wanted to keep playing football away from home.
You know, I was fresh out of high school. I was far from the house, so you know, I still had a little kiddish in me, so I kind of grew out of that. So now I'm focused and I know what I want to do.
Who helped you through that? Any coaches? Was it mainly Mama? I mean,
It was Mom and my high school coach back at the house.
Yeah. And at what point did you kind of realize, you know what, I could probably do something pretty special if I just stick with it?
The way things was going in JUCO, so it's all a dream, really.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier with Caleb Moses and stuff came up how these small town guys, country guys are on this team defensive line. Since you're from out of state, we'll ask you, who's the most country guy on the defensive line?
Quay Evans. Quay Evans.
I don't know. Him and Caleb been running.
Caleb didn't want to say.
Yeah, the Quay's replacing as stoplights. I mean,
Yeah. Him and Caleb been running.
but again, how have you fit with all these guys, just such different backgrounds from yourself?
I kind of fit in pretty good. I've been out here since '09, you know, so I kind of fit in with them a lot.
Do you feel like a Mississippian now?
Just about.
Just about. Well, what have you still got to adjust to?
You know, just the speed of things out here.
Do you feel like there's you guys both feel like there's about 50, 60 guys on this team that are small town Mississippi. We have the same backgrounds. I can relate to half, maybe 3/4 of this roster. Is that a big deal when it comes to chemistry?
Yeah, I would say so, because, you know, we all come from similar backgrounds, and they kind of make everything a little more easy to get along with each other, because we know where each other comes from and things like that.
You know, on the depth chart, it looks like you're competing against Shane McCardell. Shane was saying, you know, there's going to be some situations where you're both on the field on opposite sides. So, are you looking forward to that, to seeing him to maybe line up on the opposite side in some situations? Think it's going to be pretty deadly? He says that you're probably the only one of the few guys that matches up with him speed-wise. What's your reaction when you hear that?
I don't know. He's a pretty fast guy. I don't know.
You feel like you've pushed him a little bit more? He seems to have kicked it into another gear since you've been on campus.
I think so.
Yeah. We sitting across from two future NFL players right now? What do you guys think?
Definitely.
I think so.
Where do you keep your national championship ring?
I can't tell you.